Hello and welcome back. It's been a while, right? Yes, I haven't followed my own advice and procrastination got the better of me. Anyway, let's return to normal programming. I'm starting back on this video as I've been thinking about making it for quite some time. Probably if I'd done this more, 2 or 3 months of inactivity wouldn't have happened. So what got me started with railway modelling? Well, like a lot of us, it was an overload track on the living room floor. As I got older, that expanded into more track, more trains, just more. Then I started reading about layouts in the Railway Modeller and decided I needed one of those. Mine had some rolling hills, fields full of cattle, houses and villages dotted around, and all on a bit of 8 by 4 chipboard. It was only a loop of track, but it was still much more than that. It was an imaginary world. Bring that up to today, but what do I have? A plank of wood and a load of imagination. This is my train set in a box, which holds the power supply, the track, and all the wagons and the locos. So now it's time to set the track plan up, and this is basically a simple inglenook with about 3 sidings. Now I'm taking a bit of cereal packet and cutting out the cards for where the wagons are going to be switched and moved to make up the outgoing train. I'm also creating the cards for the spots as well. Now getting out 8 wagons, so there's going to be 4 for the incoming train and 4 in the spots, and then the task is to switch all the wagons around until you've got the outbound train ready to go. So each car is having a card made up with just its name, car type and its wagon number. And now I'm drawing up the spot numbers. At the moment there's only 4, so I keep it simple. They're placed in the positions that the spots are going to be, and now I'm plugging in the power, which is just a simple Kato power unit, 12 volt power supply, actually from a Glacier Express pack. Now I shuffle the cards up and lay them down to tell me how to make the inbound train up and also where to put the cars for the spots. And finally the loco, which is a GP38 from the Green Mountain Railway, which is part of the Vermont Railway. I have to say these are exceptional runners, and up until relatively recently, probably way better than any British locos that I certainly had as a younger person. And now I'm going to attach all the wagons to the inbound train. Placing the wagons in the spots, ready for the switching out to make up the outbound train. And now I've got the cars ready, and it's just checking to see whether I've got them in the right places, and that's the uncoupling pin that I'm using. And so the first move starts. Actually, you'll note that this is the wrong way around because I've wired them up the wrong way. It's at this point I realise that the light is absolutely sort of useless for shooting into it directly, so I'm moving the board round onto another wall which is facing away from the window and overlighting it with a daylight bulb. So now I'm looking at the cars to just double check, and I think they've got a bit mixed up in the move, so they don't actually match the wagons that I've got on the train, as you'll see, because it should be, the first wagon should be the Guildford rail, but I've got it down as being the Conrail wagon. So I've now added a separate piece of card, or paper actually, to tell me the spots they're going in, which I didn't have before. And I'm about to now shuffle them up for the outbound train. So basically what happens is that I, once shuffled and dealt out, that's the train that I'm going to make out of the wagons that I've got in front of me. And now the switching begins. So the train is pushed into the holding siding. I'm not sure what all the names of the tracks are, but this is the inbound train from the main line. This is supposedly a short line, so and I'm now following the first move from the first card for the first spot. And I basically take any order of which I can do this, so it's not really any set way, I just kind of make it up as I go along. So it may not be the most efficient way of doing this, but for me it's the most fun. So now I'll just carry on the moves until the train is made up of the correct cars and all the spots have got the wagons in the right places. It may be that the selection of the wagons in the spots are the same ones that were dealt there in the first place, but that's not a problem. It may be that you have to work around. In this case, there will be a wagon in, say, spot in spot 2 that stays the same, but wagon in spot 1 changes, so you have to move around the wagons in order to shuffle them in between each of the spots. Sometimes the wagons don't particularly couple up or uncouple particularly well on the corners of the track, but the microtrain couplings are pretty easy to use.
And the maximum length of cars I can get in the holding siding is 4 cars, and the maximum for the outbound line is 4 cars as well, so that kind of defines how many wagons I can use in the inglenook. Could potentially make it more interesting by adding a spot in the holding track, but that would be making it a lot harder. And also, if you want to make it more kind of realistic, I know there's people, modelers, who almost make it realistic and count in time for waiting for air brake systems to build up or blow off, and also waiting for conductors to walk the length of wagons and things like that. So I personally just enjoy switching the trucks, so for me that's enough. So I'm now making up the outbound train. And the train is now complete. And it's ready, and the train is now departing with the correct wagons for that particular switching operation, and their work is done. And that is the moves all completed, and that's my session finished. So all the wagons are in the right place from the cars that I laid out, and I'm done. Real time, it took me probably about 3/4 of an hour to do this. So, and now time to put it all away. And the session is over. I'm thinking about getting some proper stock boxes so I don't have to put them away in the plastic boxes, which is a bit of a pain. And as I've only got about 20 wagons anyway, it wouldn't be too much of a hardship. But I only select 8 at a time from the ones that I do have. And as you can see, the amount of track I've got is pretty easy to, it's all Kato Unitrack, and that's it.
Has got my mojo going again and wanting to make stuff. Ultimately, we're all playing trains in our imaginary world, so if you don't have the space, get the train set out, set something simple up and imagine for a while. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.